So first of all, the CEO of eSiksha.com. He is an active domain investor and he deals with short and keyword domain names and is also an angel investor. So can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Deepak Daftari on stage, please?
Thank you.
I love the mustache, sir.
Thank you.
The next gentleman, I love this guy's personal life story. It's like, you know, when you learn how to ride a bicycle, you climb up, you fall, you get a few scratches, you come back up again, and that's how you learn to ride a bicycle. His real life story is also just like that. He's made good choices, he's learned from the bad ones, and he today has a wide range of interests. He's also behind a few astrology websites, to semi-precious stones websites, to also going forward to having telephonic language training. That's this wide spectrum of his, scope that of portfolio that he has with him. So can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Jay Paudyal on stage, please? The next gentleman that I'm getting on stage is one of the most biggest investors in the domain name industry. Recently, I've just got this hot news up from the kitchen, and that is he made a 6-figure sale for a .NET domain. So an interesting gentleman to have him here with us. He's written a book which is titled Let's Sell Domain. It's actually called Sell Domains Fast. So that's his book, and we have him on stage with us. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Aishwin Vikhona on stage, please? He's also developed softwares for newbies to invest in domains or to find out more about the domains that they can get involved with. Welcome, sir. Please take your seat. And of course, the gentleman who is here with us in the morning, the Chief Product Officer from GoDaddy. He's here with us. Can I have a big round of applause for Stephen Aldrich? Sir, thank you so much for joining me, and I love that energy. This is how it should be in the evening. And the man of the moment, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you in the morning, there are a few people who just lead. This is a gentleman who lives and leads by example. Thank you, Soeren. Can I have a big round of applause for the CEO, CloudFest? Thank you. With this, panelists. So we have two non-Hindi speaking guys, but the question is, how much is my domain worth? In Hindi, it is, mera domain ki price kya hai? So that's the question, and I'll leave it all open to all of you.
Perfect. So yeah, we talk about something extremely important, how to get rich. So yeah, you made a great introduction already, Abi. Let's talk a little bit more. Beside of most amazing mustache in all of India, yeah, you're a very successful domain investor. And basically in preparation of this panel here today, I saw that you recently sold a domain which is vaginalplasticsurgery.com.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a very niche theme, I would say. Tell us about it. I mean, how much money did you make with that?
I think I sold it for $8,000. I bought it for $69. So typically when I try to focus on a niche, I look at domains, anything at the bottom end between $69, $79, $59. Look at the names at the top. And if I'm buying a portfolio, then I won't shy away from paying a 6-figure or a 7-figure sum in dollar terms also. So it depends upon the value of the name I buy, the category, and what's the upside potential on the name.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's make it very quick with introductions, because this panel is mostly for you to ask questions. So
Right.
Aishwin, you're the next one. So beside of that, you always hang out with the most beautiful girls in Las Vegas at NamesCon. You're also a bookseller, and we have a couple of books here with us, which we will give away as part of the session right now. Sell Domains Fast. This is like the 101 to get into the domain industry. So read this book, and you will become as successful as those guys here. So you sold Co.net recently.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah? How much did you sell it for?
It sold for $100,000.
Wow, how much did you invest?
I bought it for low 5 figures.
Okay, so it was a good investment and you flipped around
Yes,
successfully.
Very good ROI. Yeah.
Okay, next one in the round, Jay. Jay, you do a lot of work in the community here to promote domains, help out ICANN, and organize policy forums and stuff like that. Beside of that, you're also a successful domain investor, and what I learned today, you're the guy who's refusing basically all the offers who are coming in. So I heard like he got 3 offers last week for 3 different domains worth $125,000, and he all turned him down. What is wrong with you?
He's too rich, he doesn't want the money.
Actually, I believe in pitch and refuse technique, so I use that method. So pitch and refuse, like if I give some example, if you say like boy to a girl, I love you. My foot. Again, like I love you. Oh, go to hell. Oh, what is the problem with you? Okay, then girl says, can you gift me an iPhone X? And boy say yes. So I use those tactics, and since we are here in Mumbai and it's Bollywood, Maya Nagari, and somehow my brand name is related to Bollywood as well, and in that punchline, like my name is Khan, Domain Khan, and I'm not a squatter.
So you're not refusing all the offers, I hope.
See, I'm refuser as well, so I refuse effort because I have confident to sell that domain at some desired price by me. If it doesn't sell, I can build business around it and I can make 10x, 100x. So that thing I have. That's why sometimes I refuse.
Yes. So learning is here. You do not need to take the first offer always. You can sometimes wait until the price is right.
It makes a lot of sense waiting for the right offer, especially for the high-end domain names, because if you show your desperation, you are going to sell the house silver for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, okay. So what we are doing here right now is, you can ask questions. So Abhishek will walk around. You can give us a domain name which you own or which you may want to buy, and we give you the expert opinion. So you get like 3 manual opinions from Aishwin, Deepak, and from Jay. And in addition to that, you get 1 more opinion, the GoDaddy opinion. And this is what Steve is going to do. Steve, give us a short idea what you're going to do and the product basically you built.
Sure. So we have incredible human expertise up here, and what we've done is looked at transactions over many, many years and different facets of what goes into valuing a domain. The name, content, the length of the name, the TLD component, and built a machine learning model that values domain names within a certain range. So depending upon what comes up from the audience, we may be able to get a value, we may not. But we're trying to use this tool to create more liquidity in the market in ranges probably lower than what we're talking about here so far, but trying to find ways to, like you would in the stock market or home appraisal, find a way to get the spread between what the buyer wants and what the seller is willing to pay short enough so a transaction happens. So we'll see how we do with the tool.
Okay, before we get started with the questions here, at NamesCon in Las Vegas this year, our flagship conference for the domain industry, which we had in January, we have a live auction there. And we sold domains worth $2.7 million this year. And the domain with the highest value which got bought was crate.com. And what I'm doing right now is I'm giving one of Aishwin's book away for the one who makes the guess or who comes closest to the guess how much we sold crate.com for in US dollar. Just shout it out. Let me.
Wait. Well, democracy, please. Raise your hands, and then at least when he looks at you, you can, so we know which figure is whose. Yeah. So, yes, sir, what's your number? And you have to be loud. 1.6 million. Is that the answer? 5 million. They sold total websites of 2.7 million. And you're saying it got sold for 5 million. 15. 1.5. Sir, 2.7 million.
Can we say the price and then resell the book?
$500,000, $500,000. One more, anybody else?
One more.
3.6, sir, total.
Okay. Let me give you the answer right now. There was one, actually it was the very first one, which was the closest.
Okay.
So I heard 1 million. I think that was the first or the second.
The gentleman.
Yep, it was you.
Yes,
It
come
was-
up and
come
we'll
up,
get you the
yeah,
book.
Yeah. It was
And let's give him a round of applause as he comes up to collect his prize. A book, and maybe we could do this. Why not have it autographed
Oh,
by...
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yes, it's your book. Let's... May we have your name, sir? Samir. Okay. Next question.
Next question, okay.
I just have a request. If this side has a question, please ask me from here. Don't do this that I run from here till there and there. Okay, it's 6 in the evening. Even I'm tired. I'm feeling a little lazy today. Okay, Soeren, here's the next question.
Okay, let's start with the domains, if you like, yeah.
If somebody of you could just share what exactly constitutes the assessment of a domain pricing.
Good point. Let's start with that.
Start.
Yeah.
Right here.
See, there are a lot of parameters to look in. The first is the market. Domains are broadly divided into two parts, brandable and keyword domain. So if you are like buying a keyword domain, you should look for the exact number of searches this keyword has, what kind of market this keyword has. If you do a quick Google search, you will see a lot of potential websites who are running similar to this. This gives a pretty much idea about it. The cost per click, like Deepak sold the domain and injury and lawyers section, the CPC there is far higher. So you can just look for that as a parameter. Past sales is one of the key factor to look into. So if similar keyword sales were sold in the past for a higher price, that can constitute to a reason why this domain can be sold for a higher price.
So typically when I buy a domain name, I try to first see whether my preference lies for .com. So my preference lies as .com, then .orgs, then .net, and then .co. So if I'm buying a .com, I see whether it's a one word or a two word or a three word .com. Then I see the number of AdWords in Google AdWords bidding for that keyword term. I see the CPC, I see the search volume. In the search volume, I see as exact search, broad search, and similar kind of searches. Then I take a look at the number of advertisers for that bid for that keyword. Then I look at the budget that each of these advertisers have over a monthly period of time, and over the last 12 months how much they would have spent on it. And if it is a one-word.com which are extremely expensive to buy, then I see the last 5 years data, similar domains, what value they sell for. Every domain has two values they can sell for. One is a value which a reseller will pay you, another domain investor. So you can immediately flip that domain name to another investor if I need money, if I have a crisis or liquidity cash flow issues. Another is when I buy a extremely high-end .com domain name which I need to sit in for a number of years, then I see the probability of the end paycheck, how big a paycheck can be. So there are multiple parameters, but if you look at these broad sections, I think it covers a fair bit of it.
Yeah, one other thing to think about is how many potential buyers might there
Yes.
be, because you might have a valuable domain name, but there are only a very small number of potential buyers. So how generic is the word? How likely is someone to buy it versus, well, there are a few buyers, they might want to pay a lot, but you have to find the right time as well.
Right.
And actually, I don't go by historical data and stats. My style is like, I mean, what kind of business my end user can develop with that domain. Okay, if, for example, if I talk about avjay.com, it doesn't have any value for me. Okay, if I speak about pay.com, you know, if you remove that J character and do pay.com, in pay.com you can build big business, and if you put gay.com, you can still do something. So that is my idea. Like if I mostly sell to end user and I see what kind of business they can build around that domain. That is my idea.
Okay, hit us with a domain.
So it's a mix of scientific and at the end of the day, a creative process.
Yeah. So let's
All of it
start
from
with
our
the domain.
panelists. Anybody, we have a question here. I'll come back to you, sir.
I want to know the worth of a domain htmlsite.com.
Sorry?
htmlsite.com.
He has a domain called HTMLSITE. htmlsite.com. HTML died. So,
So criteria is very tough. I would say most of it comes from a gut feel when you go through sales data day after day, week after week, year after year. That's something which comes to you. Like I don't know if you use DN Journal. DN Journal has sales data every week, and they have been doing it for years. Name bio is there, DN sale price is there. So if I've been going for the past sales data for at least a good number of years, then that's something which you can give as a gut feel, which you feel ideally end user might pay. So every domain has, again, as I said, two values, end user and reseller. So it depends upon what value you're looking for.
So what's the price?
So HTML site, I would say in the reseller market, it can be anything from $1,500 to $2,500. And to an end user who probably is in a similar kind of business, he can, this is my assumption, pay you anything from $7,000 to $10,000.
What's your opinion, Aishwin?
I would first, yeah, like Deepak said, I would first like go to namebio.com. That's the place where you do a quick search. You type HTML and you'll see all the past sales of domain related to HTML that were sold, all the extensions. That's one thing. Second, I would do a quick Google search for the term HTML site. I would want to think like a buyer. What would a buyer want to do about it? If I were a buyer, what would I be doing about this domain? And that will pretty much give me a good idea. If the domain was for a conversion related business, like a lot of sites are getting converted today from HTML to WordPress, Joomla, whatever. So in that case, the business is big. HTMLsite.com, the first thing I need to think is what business I would want to come up with this. And the end user who's going to buy this, what price he would want to pay me for this. But anywhere between 500 to 1500 is where.
Okay, interesting.
But also depends on the searches also, so which I don't have access to.
Yeah, so I've got, I have some data on what the site maybe you purchased it for in the past. It was a $299 sale. I have data on similar sites, HTML Link, what it sold for, $1,400, a number of other sites, proxy site, et cetera. So they're all in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. The concept of site is a popular keyword, so that's quite good. HTML is quite popular, and it's a .com. So we would value that. And again, it's not the most you could get paid, but if you wanted to sell in a reasonable period of time, we'd recommend that the value be placed about $2,200.
Okay.
Nearby.
Jay, do you
Yeah,
like to add
if I
anything?
go by end user logic, like what kind of business they can develop around this domain name. So my idea of reselling price in reseller market would be 800 to
Okay.
1000.
Okay. So in the range, we are all quite similar with our opinion about that domain. Next one, hit us up. What's the next domain?
check. Please introduce yourself and ask a question.
Yeah, hello. My name is Birju Koteja. Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Just a question. I'm quite new to this. So if someone joins as an investor, say we don't know, there are new areas out there. So is there any concept of safeguarding your investment? Or I'm not sure, some kind of ready monitoring where, like a stop loss or something where if something goes beyond my perceived value, I can exit.
Yeah, but that's totally under your control, isn't it? How much you want to spend. And see, if you are planning to go into the domain business today without doing your homework, I might say might as well not do it. Learn it for maybe a year, give it some time, go through the blogs, go through the sales data, make yourself updated, and then go into this system of buying and selling. But if you just want to do it as a gamble, be prepared to lose a fair bit of money when you're starting now.
Yeah, I think if you're investing in any type of an asset, if you are investing in real estate, investing in the stock market, you want to be trying your learning first without real money, so you can go out and actually say, hey, I would have bought this name for so much, and then track it over time. So think about if you were going to do that to learn how to invest your own money in other assets, how do you go about learning so that when you put real money to work, you've developed your intuition and developed your judgment and your risk profile over time.
There are pretty much three ways to look into it. One is you have to ensure that the domain you're buying is not trademark related. Because if you're buying a trademark-related domain, it's not going to sell. You might end up with some UDRP cases, like Zach told us. So this is one thing. Second is there are two ways you can buy a domain. You can buy, like while investing, you can buy it on an auction site, like GoDaddy auctions are there every day. There are a lot of good domains that go on an auction place, and you have to bid and win. You should know what's your limit, at what point you should exit. Second is you can negotiate and talk to the people who already have this domain from you. So you should better know your risk, and if you can do a quick search on who's the potential buyers going to be like, you are going to be sure about it that it's a good investment.
Yeah, and you can search, I mean, you can Google that term and see like what other companies or brand are using that name, and apart from that, you can do TM search using some sites. And before investing, I go by some, simple logic, like I see, what kind of appetite for profits and risk I have. And apart from that, see, before buying any domain from, whether you are registering fresh by hand or you are, buying domain from aftermarket, actually you can sell your domain before buying it. If you search that term, if you can have, 10 to 15 good prospects before buying that domain. So it can reduce some risk as well. That is my idea.
What I learned personally, I only started domain investing when we got more interested to acquire NamesCon, so I had to learn what we are doing here, obviously. So and for me, it was basically finding a niche where a lot of revenue is in. That you have a niche industry, but like it's a high turnaround, a high revenue you have within that industry. So that is something which I would say secures the risk, because you talk to a limited number of potential buyers, and you might be able to hand register still some of them, depending on the niche you're going into. So that is something like I kind of build it up as my personal strategy doing it.
I want to add one point here, like a best idea is to invest in your niche. Like you have to see like in what niche you have your passion or your hobby. Suppose, if I'm dentist, I can book some domains around that niche because I'm expert of that thing, and I know what others are looking for, and I know, pros and cons of my business, and I know my keywords, I know my rates. So it is best idea to invest on your niche.
I remember last year, Davinder Pal was here from New York.
Yeah, DNA sequencing.
Yeah, he's basically by his profession, he's, I don't know, what is it, biologist or
QA sequencing.
Yeah, it's DNA sequencing basically. He only has a couple of hundred of domains, but extremely niche in a very high revenue market basically.
So he just sold DNAcode.com for I think $25,000. So that's maybe one out of the 500 or 600 domains he has in that niche.
Okay, anyone wants to know what a domain is worth?
Okay, one more question this side of the hall, then I'll proceed that side.
Okay.
And these are the last set of questions we take because we have like 9 minutes more. Okay.
Yeah, I own a domain name. Since we are sitting in that NamesCon India, so I have an interesting name for an Indian market. This is lab.com, L-A-B-H.com.
L?
L-A-B-H.com.
L-A-B-H. B-H.
Lab. This is basically profit in Hindi.
Yes.
.com? Was it .com?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
So,
can I start?
Please, Jay, go ahead.
I can buy that name if you meet after this, and
I know,
don't
Jay.
get
I know,
appraisals
Jay.
from here. I can buy that name there.
I know, Jay.
That's a very good name. In that similar lines, I have shri.com, shri.com. Yeah, so Lab is pretty much a good name. It's 4-letter.com, so that certainly adds into it. It can go anywhere in 5 figures, like $10,000 to $30,000, like where I would look at it.
Okay.
Yep. Again, we can go through the logic, but the domain tool, and anyone can go use this. You can go to GoDaddy.com and click on the domains, and there's an appraisal link there. $11,257. Again, you can sell it for more than that, but if you were trying to get it to move quickly, that would be a price you could choose.
So it's not a Chinese premium. Chinese premium is something which doesn't have A, E, I, O, U. They don't have the concept of the letter V in their terminology. So although it's not a Chinese premium in the reseller market, it can be anything between the value of $4,000 to $8,000. A good domain investor, long-term investor will give you that. If you're looking at the end user value, I would typically not sell if I had that name for anything less than between $15,000 to $25,000. Again, I have to tell you, see, you have to look at domain names in terms of the number of unique visitors you get. I have a domain name, IKBR, I think so, IKBR or something like that, which doesn't have too many Google results. I think at the most Google search results is just 25,000. I bought it on a whim. I bought for $400 or $500. I thought that it'll be a very small market for it, but the traffic on it was phenomenal. On a daily basis, I think that domain earns almost $50 to $60 for me on PPC parking. So then I realized that one of the largest broking firms in US was on IBKR, and this was IKBR, which is a typo of that, but they can't sue me because this is a generic domain name and their traffic I was getting on my name. And stock trading is a hugely lucrative area in US. So sometimes you get those kind of domain names also whose value you realize over a period of time. So never discount anything at face value.
And
Yeah, so that's key. So you're able to monetize
Yes.
that domain while you were holding it as well.
Exactly. I'll give you one more example. I have a domain name rehabcenters.net. So I paid quite a nice sum for that. But once I have parked it on PPC, the per click value I get, forget about Google share or the parking company share, it makes me anything from $50 to $70 per click to me. And that happens at least once or twice every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So sometimes the price might seem very high to you, but then the rewards are equally higher. So if you're buying a good name, my advice is don't shy from paying a good value. When you buy gold, you sell gold. When you buy cow dung, you sell cow dung.
And for me, it is between $5,000 to $6,000, and believe me, 6 is my lucky number.
There's one more, vyapar.online, one more website. It's here. I'm just a gentleman is here. His website's name is vyapar.online. So he
Zero.
wants to have a feel. What do you feel about this website?
I would simply say 0 because I am anti-new GTLD.
Okay, he's anti-new GTLD. That's his personal choice. Don't lose heart.
Yeah, so nobody should beat us when we are out of the hall.
Yes. So,
For
Vyapar,
me, it is
.online.
truth or dare,
okay.
and I'll prefer to dare.
So what's the value? Vyapar.online.
0.
0?
It's a .online extension. Vyapar is a Hindi term,
Yes.
Which means
Yeah.
business.
which means business, obviously. Business.online was amazing.
Yeah.
Like Vyapar Vyapar.in would make more sense there. Vyapar.com would make more sense there, but .online. So anyone who's a buyer for Vyapar.online would have a lot of options available right now, like Vyapar.tech, like so many other other GTLDs he can always look for. So when there are a lot of options available, the buyer would want to not pay much there.
Not
So-
only that, see, when you type a word like Vyapar, which is the Hindi annotation written in English, the way multiple people will write. So I will give example. Fun will always be FUN, but Vyapar can be written by 10 different spellings by 10 different people. So even if you have Vyapar.online, you have to buy the other variations for it to be successful. So you need to understand the nuances of a keyword also, how people write, because it's a generic term in Hindi.
With respect to Redix, I mean, I just remember casino.online got sold recently for $200,000.
Yeah.
So those cases definitely happen with GTLDs. And I think one of the things what we discussed last year, if you want to make, not with GTLDs, but let's say country TLDs, if you want to make a ratio to the .com domains, I think we had the case with co.uk or .de for Germany, but you say it's like the value is around 2 to 5% of the .com.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like since this is a Hindi term also, like business.online obviously has a value to it.
So Hindi term again will be dicey because the correct spelling for Vyapar will be VAVYPAAR. But if you ask 10 people in this room, 10 people will give you 10 different
of course, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, next domain. So many questions.
So
here.
there's so many, you know, the minute I'm standing here, I've got like vegmasala.com.
Don't get lazy. Don't get lazy. We make two more.
Two more. So this is an interesting
go
one.
here. You
And
have
then
to
I
go
go
here.
there. Sir, the gentleman here, by the time I walk there, you could answer this. There is gsmarena.com, which is a mobile website, GSM Arena.
Okay.
He has gsmarena.net, if I'm correct. And he would like your insight. If it is trademarked, what's the value? And if it's not a trademark term, what's his value? That's his question, and I'll move this side.
GSM Arena, if it's trademark, it all depends on the courtesy of the buyer. If he wants to fight a UDRP or if he wants to get it for free or like. And if it's not a trademark, it's still GSM Arena is a big brand on the internet today. So nobody would want to start a business similar on that term. Like I would not want to start a new business with GSM Arena when .com is there. People would want to go to .com right there. So in this case, I would reach out to the owner of gsmarena.com and see where this goes. It all depends on the negotiation skills.
So probably between $300 to $500.
Depends. It could be more if it all depends on how motivated is the.
It's an Indian website. So typically, when Indian buyer is buying the .net version of the .com, at least in my experience, I've seen that they'll take that it's my way or the highway. And when he clearly knows that his .com is any day going to be much higher in the ranking, he'll never get to the ranking. So it's basically blackmail.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or protecting his
So you
brand.
would say 3 to 500.
Yep.
Yeah. What does the tool say?
So the gsmarena.net estimated value about $2,300, but a lot depends of, can you even sell it? There have been other GSM arenas sold, so gsmarena.co.uk sold for $6,100. So other folks have speculated that perhaps they can sell it to the owner of the trademark.
I would also do this. I would take this link of appraisal, GoDaddy appraisal link, and show this to the person like who I'm negotiating with, and say this is the value of it as per GoDaddy. So I would want this much. So I might end up with more.
See, my idea is like first you have to search like who has .org version of that domain name, and if that company wants to protect their brand by acquiring this name, you can charge fee less than UDRP, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
That's when it's not trademarked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two more, last two.
Okay.
POD taxi.com.
Hey, nice to see you. Hi. Manveen.
So friendly terms, okay.
What is the value of podtaxi.com?
Sorry?
Pod, P-O-D, taxi.
That's the one you always have on your Facebook, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Podtaxi.com.
Podtaxi.com sounds really good. It all depends on pod taxi. I think it's future, and there's a lot of research that is involved here. If you can Google this term and figure out how the future is up there, this is domain you should wait and hold to get the right price in. What kind of searches it gets?
Value.
Give us a price. What's the price?
It depends, but I would want to put it into under 5,000 to 10,000 bracket.
Deepak.
So for taxi reseller market, if I'm selling to a reseller, I would say between $2,000 to $5,000. End user, I would put anything from $10,000 to $25,000.
Jay.
And my idea is, since pod taxi is futuristic term, okay, My idea of investing is when I invest in futuristic domain, if somebody does that, my idea is what if that technology fails in coming year? If I talk about, pod taxi, maybe some down the line 2 or 3 years, there might be, hyper taxi or some other technologies comes in. Right now, if I evaluate this name, if we have that kind of technologies and car, for me it is 20,000.
That's what you'd like to hear.
So
Okay,
we've
what's
got
the tool
Tool suggests $2,400 and a
that's
number of
what we
other
don't wanna
relative
hear.
names that you could go look
2 to
at
5, I said
like
2
that
to
as well.
5, yeah.
Okay.
I've just rejected $9,000 offer on my way to NamesCon.
Oh.
Yeah, so that will be a typical end user. As I said, for a reseller between
yes,
2 to
yes.
5 end user can anything be
But
between.
one state has a budget of 4,000 crore for this project. So you see, future.
So you have to
transportation-
understand, see, many a times if you have the best end user, and just because they have the money doesn't necessarily mean they'll pay you. A domain which I had, a company had bought that CEO version from me. They had multi-million, almost 90 or 95 million dollar funding. I had the .co version. They wanted that because they had developed the exact product on that name, but they couldn't get any other name because there were other products on all the other extensions. But after 6 months of going back and forth, they did not want to pay me more than $10,000. So for me, it was $69 to $10,000. So it goes both ways. Sometimes you have to understand that just because they have the money, they will not necessarily pay. Maybe they'll add some acronym to it and then go on to the next version and just buy it for $10. So whatever best you can, take the money, run, reinvest, and build your portfolio.
My idea is you can hold this name, till you get 15 to 20K, and if no other technology replaces this thing, this pod taxi, then you can get more than that, but after
Yeah. Again, the question
couple of
is,
years.
do you want to use the money now?
Exactly.
Because how many years will it be till someone is as excited about the idea as they are today? So if you can get $10,000 now and you want that money to put to use to invest elsewhere, great. It's a risk-reward question.
And
See,
what-
you always need to understand your business always, domain business always relies on cash flow. So you need to see that some domains are short-term flips, some are medium-term holds, and some are long-term holds. As long as you can segregate your portfolio and you have that cash flow, you can build your business and grow the business. But without selling names, you can never buy more and more names. How will your cash flows work?
You know what? Next year, 2019, we just do 8 hours long that panel, right? I mean, there's so many questions,
There
right?
are,
But unfortunately, the day is not over. There's more stuff to come. The thing is, we need to leave that room for a couple of minutes so that we can get ready for the party here with the setup and everything. That's why we have to stop right now. But we can do the following. I would say, you can ask our panelists privately questions outside. They take 500 rupees per domain.
That's
Yes.
right. Perfectly
And,
said, Soeren.
And look, Aishwin brought a couple of books. So he's very happy to give them out, to you guys later. And if there's no more books left, we only have those here, you can buy it on Amazon, right? So.
It's also on Amazon. It's also on selldomainsfast.com site, anywhere.
So,
We have to stop, guys.
Stop, we have
Sorry.
to stop.
Yeah, we have to stop.
Have to
so
stop.
We see you in a little bit. Yeah, back here. To contact us,
email IDs to contact you all.
Just go to
Okay.
GoDaddy.com and go to the domain appraisal. GoDaddy.com or GoDaddy.in. Click domains, domain appraisal. You can go get quick
I think
prices
that's
there.
one of the best
List their
places to go
expertise.
because they are the biggest and they have a complete dedicated team for the auction, the auction aspect of domains. So they're the best people
let's
to
do
go
the
there.
following. In the next couple of days, I just get an idea. We do that online, huh?
Yeah.
The five of us, we do some session online, and we will
that
can be
tell everyone here in India when we're going to set it up for 2-3 hours. Yeah. Sorry, guys, we have to stop it now.
Okay.
Okay.
That was really, really
Thanks a lot.
interesting. Thank you to all the panelists. And one small request, can we have a big round of applause for all of them for being
Thanks,
here with
Soeren.
us?
Thank you.